What's up, everyone? Matt Day with CLA, back to talk some more defense with you. In our last video, we talked about north, south, east, and west, direction and posture of ball carriers, and as a defenseman, if somebody goes north, south, east, and west, what is my cue to then do? We're going to build on that today with our rules of engagement. So we talked about playing on-ball defense. Now we want to talk about where we're going to start playing that on-ball defense. So on the left, you have three terms. You have alley, skinny, and drive and turn. In the middle here, you have a diagram of where we're going to do each one of those terms. So on the left, starting with alley, first of all, this is going to be against our midfield dodges, whether that's top middle, top left, or top right. Anything above restraining that comes from the corners or top middle, we want to pick them an alley, pick them aside, and designate where they're going to go. Number one, as somebody's running down this way, let's say we force them to our left-handed alley, they're losing angle once they get to about here. That's a much harder shot than if we were to give them the middle. So we want to put our butts to the middle and take them to one of the sides. If somebody's coming from the top middle, it's more important that we take them to their offhand. So for example, if the dodge started from here, we would want to orient ourselves to take them down the left-handed alley as opposed to just giving them the right hand. Whereas here and here, we want to force them down the side so they're losing angle and we have time to slide to it without it being an immediate threat. We want to pick up at restraining. I'm a big proponent of, I don't like it when people get a running start, so I don't want to pick up below the box and then my dodger has got 15 yards of space to just run and be full speed and now I have to backpedal and catch up. The higher up that you can pick them up, I've never met a D-midi that can pick up too high or a D-pull that can pick up too high. I'd rather us remove the cushion, remove the space, and not allow them to get a running start at me, as opposed to a guy floating 15 yards up here and I'm just waiting for him to come run at me full speed. Okay, it's more about angles than it is about playing out too far. Number two, our skinny is drawn here in green. That really applies to wing dodges. Our reference point is about 10 to 12 yards outside of the pipe. So if we were here, we want to be oriented in the position A. We're not allowing this dodger from here to get to their right hand. So I want to approach, force down the alley, and it's called skinny because if we imagine the pipe here, I want to make him get skinny down the pipe. The pipe is my reference point, right? So the goalie is screaming skinny. That means, hey, find the pipe as the defenseman and force that ball carrier down the pipe. I never want to let him go this way. I'm going to take him in this direction, drawn like this. Okay? Now, the third one, drive and turn, this is going to be what a coach tells you to do at X. You have two options. And what that means is, as a ball carrier from X is coming up, they're going to do one of two things. They're going to pick a pipe, they're going to roll back and forth. Again, we want to pick up 5 yards below GLE. I don't want to give an attackman 7 yards of space back there behind the goal to do whatever he wants and make some feeds hands free. So I want to get on him and close that cushion. As we get to GLE, which is my reference point for all of my drives and turns, that's goal line extended. If he approaches here, I'm going to do one of two things. I'm going to drive, which means I'm taking him to one of the pylons on the end zone. That's a good reference point. I've got my eyes up and I'm taking him this direction. Usually you drive when you want to keep your matchup without sliding. So if your coach is screaming drive, that means he expects you to get him under control. There's not going to be a slide coming. If we're turning, that means when we approach that same GLE, we want to make him do this. We want to make him go underneath so a defenseman can slide to the ball carrier while this offensive ball carrier has his back turned to the middle. We would then slide 1 to 2 yards below GLE and double team. So your coaches, we should be telling our players whether to drive or turn. And as a defenseman, if I hear drive, I'm by myself, so I'm playing a little more conservative and I'm trying to get him to the corner here. Turn is I know I have a slide responsibility behind me. I'm going to force him underneath so that slide can do its job. So again, that's alley, skinny, drive and turn. In our next video, we're going to start talking about how we can apply some of these things to team defense and why it's so important to force alley, to force skinny, and to force drive and turn. And then we're going to build on that and again continue talking about Carolina and Army, our base sets. defense. So stay tuned for the videos, and we'll get back with you on the next one.